This show is sponsored by Joel Ellenwood, aka the Infinite Zeal. You can find him on X, formerly known as Twitter, @_Infinite Zeal. He is probably the nicest dude you'll ever see on social media. He loathes the state just like the rest of us, but he has a proper way of doing it and bringing us some good laughs. We're going to meme our way through this, but please give him a follow on X @_Infinite Zeal. Thanks for the sponsor, Joel. Let's get to the show. Welcome to the BudsnReality Show, the #1 Liberty pod out of Detroit. I am Sean Collins, the guy with a lot to say, and I'm back with my man, Joel Ellenwood, aka the Infinite Zeal. Man, how you doing? Thanks for coming back.
Oh, I'm doing great. It's always great to be with you, Sean.
It's always great to be with you
Yeah.
too. It is. No homo. I know we got to watch out for all that stuff, you know. Oh, wait,
Oh,
can you say homo anymore? Is that allowed? I'm not too
I don't
sure.
know.
Who cares? We don't.
Do the rules change on Pride Month? Like on Pride Month, and certain more things are considered homophobic. I don't know. I mean,
I don't think we care regardless, so whatever.
I don't.
But
Drive over to damn crosswalks for all I care. Let's see some skid marks.
love it, man. Good to have you. Good to have you. Good to see you. It is it's been a minute since I've been on. I apologize, you guys. I was going through some stuff. I lost my dog, and that was rough. So needless to say, we don't need to get into all that, but yeah, that was my baby. We lost her. Here we are, we're back. So, Mr. Ellenwood, dude, we have so much to go over, so much traction.
You
You
do?
actually went to the convention, which we'll get into later, but I feel like we need to get into the hottest take of this week, which is Hunter Biden getting found guilty of felony gun charges. For Christ's sake, for what? What did Hunter Biden do to really get charged with felony or found guilty, by the way? I'm sorry, he didn't just get charged, he was found guilty of felony gun charges. Like what? Like what? The president of the United States' son is being tried and found guilty for possession charges. Really? These were just possession charges. Like, wow. What's your take, Zeal? Let's hear it.
Well, shall not be infringed doesn't apply to Hunter Biden, apparently. So I guess I saw something someone posted, I guess all the actual like real crimes he committed from his like base, like if you went through his laptop, all the real crimes he committed with like prostitutes and like I've heard people talk about underage like,
girls.
yeah,
Girls,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Okay, yeah, that's confirmed. If that's confirmed, it's like okay, like so we have that. And but they resort to gun whatever. He possessed a gun illegally, which that's first of all, that's not even how is that a thing? And then you have the right going after someone for guns. And it's like, well, no wonder Republicans never do anything to help, Dexter Taylor or what Kyle Rittenhouse was going through saying they'd NRA and Republicans never really did anything to help him. But they have plenty of energy to go convict people for guns, gun possession. But, people who are being oppressed for owning guns, they couldn't give a damn. So it just kind of just epitomizes kind of the circus our world is and political landscape is now. All gun laws are infringement. We know this. It's so dumb. At least even you see people on the right, like Matt Gaetz and stuff, talk about how stupid it is to this conviction. So that's basically it. It's it's retarded. What are we doing?
Even Thomas Massey spoke out about
Massey,
it. Yeah. Sassy with Massey, I'm not a big, fan of the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, any political party at this point, not even the Libertarians. I'm not a big fan of them right now either. But like Thomas Massey, I feel like is one of the good ones.
Yeah, I would say so. You go back to like the CARES Act and when he's literally the only person to try to do anything about it, try to put a stop to it, and at least have a recorded vote. So he's oftentimes the only person to like vote for something or oppose something. He's really the only guy with a backbone, only real guy who's not owned by a foreign country. who's not taking his orders from his lobbyists, who actually has like principles that he believes in. And he's constantly the only person actually like voting to like get the federal government out of people's lives. He's consistently doing that. So I know once you're in your state, when Justin Amash gets, wins his race, there'll be more people in Congress. He'll be running for Senate, I believe, right, Amash?
Yes.
So once Amash wins his race, there'll be Rand Paul and Amash in the Senate, and then Massey in the House. It's still not enough, but at least there's a few people in there, especially Massey, who isn't actively like out to get you, basically.
As far as Justin Amash goes, I love the guy. I love his platform. I love what he's about. I'm not all the way positive he's gonna primary past Mike Rogers, who is the quote unquote Trump endorsement.
Yeah, he's a Trump guy.
But Mike Rogers' voting record is actually atrocious.
Yeah.
It's absolutely vile, to where, like, here's the thing about Justin Amash that people don't understand. When it comes to government spending and protecting rights, he is spot on always. Justin Amash has always been that way, even since his congressional days here in Michigan when he was in Congress. My thing with the whole Amash thing is I'm not sure he's going to primary out. So we are going to be stuck between Mike Rogers and Alyssa Slotkin, which, oh my God, Alyssa Slotkin is one of the most absolute worst tyrants of all tyrants. She worked for the CIA under the Bush and Obama administrations in the Middle East. Enough said, right? Obviously, that woman has bodies on her hands. We know this. We know it for a fact. You can't just be a CIA person in the Middle East during those two eras and believe otherwise. Like, that's insane. That's insane to me anyways. But, like, would I love to see Amash get our Senate seat? Absolutely. I'm pulling for him. I would love to get him on my show. He just won't reply to me. He's too cool for school. But like Mike Rogers, I'm going to be a Noda in that bubble. If that's going to be what it comes down to, between Slotkin and Rogers, I'm a Noda. I'm here in Michigan, dude. We're not doing this. I'm not, anyways. And I know a lot of people in Michigan who are like me, who are not going to do this. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous to even think that we are going to have the Trump endorsed asshat be our senator when he's voted yes on all the things that we would have voted no against. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, like, absolutely not. When I say we, like, and I got to be careful when I say we, because I'm no longer a part of it, actually. And that's the Libertarian Party. Most of the libertarians in Michigan are going to be like, no, we're not doing this at all. They'll write somebody in or whatever it may be. Who knows? I don't know. I don't have all the answers. You know what I'm saying? But, like, this is where we're at right now. Hunter Biden got convicted of 3 felony counts of firearms and what was the other part of that? I'm looking for the words. It wasn't firearms, but having drugs with firearms, right?
War on drugs and gun confiscation. It's the Ronald Reagan era all over again. That's Republicans love: war on drugs and grabbing guns.
And that's the thing. So, like, I got vocal about the Hunter Biden hearing yesterday. It was like, yo, all gun rights are an infringement out and that even includes Hunter Biden. What clapback did I get on that? It wasn't Democrats. It was Republicans, and mostly MAGA, saying, yo, we got this guy. It's better we got him for this instead of nothing. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you're supposedly, quote unquote, pro 2A, pro gun, pro whatever, and you're literally cheering on Hunter Biden getting busted with some guns and drugs together? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then I caught a bunch of clapback on that. Well, we got to get him for something, and we have this system for a reason. We should use it. No, shall not be infringed means shall not be infringed. End of story. Period. That's it. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a socialist. I don't care. You have the right to bear arms. And when I say you have the right to bear arms, you have the right to own whatever the United States government owns against its own citizens and our foreign citizens. Okay? This is the way this goes. Shall not be infringed means that exactly. And you have a bunch of naysayers that come around and say, well, they there was only muskets and stuff back then, and this, that, or the other. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? Muskets were weapons of war back then. So you come back to today, and we talk about ARs and AKs and whatever it may be, M4s. Oh, those are weapons of war. So are muskets.
So they have a problem. I wonder if they would have a problem with, people owning cannons, like having cannons stick out their window. You know what I'm saying? Like if they're the people that say, oh, the Second Amendment's only referring to muskets or the guns back then. So it's like, so if I had like a cannon on the back of my truck or something, like they wouldn't care. They'd be like, oh, that's fine.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, but like the Republican Party has really showed their true colors when it
they're
comes
pathetic.
to this. And this is one thing that you pointed out, on your Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it now, was that the fact that Republicans are only pro Second Amendment when it comes to other Republicans. They're not pro Second Amendment for everyone.
Well, they're pro Second Amendment for when they're on the campaign trail, or if and if a Democrat's trying to grab guns, then because you got to save face or whatever, you got to put out a strongly worded tweet that you believe in the Second Amendment and whatever Joe Biden's gun grabbing isn't going to stand. Well, we've seen where even when Republicans are in power, how often they just, like, even if it's gradually, always just bend the knee, and slowly but surely gun control prevails. Of course, you had to take the guns early, and you had the bump stock ban and red flag laws being enforced all over the country. Like again, Dexter Taylor sitting in prison right now. What did he do? Nothing wrong at all. They even said in the courtroom, the judge said, like, the Second Amendment doesn't exist here. I haven't seen any supposed people from the party, this quote unquote party of, the Second Amendment, even say anything to demonstrate any kind of support or solidarity for Dexter Taylor. Kyle Rittenhouse, so I remember he was saying now the NRA did nothing to help him, basically. So the NRA, a useless organization, just a front to keep up some sort of facade that Republicans and the right are they believe in gun rights and they're going to protect your gun rights. They won't. So I mean, so this is just nothing, no surprise, nothing new. Republicans are weak, and they could get the guy an actual real evil things they could have gotten Hunter Biden for. They get him for for guns and drugs. I mean, typical.
Which is, I'm so glad you pointed that out, because like dudes and dudettes, Hunter Biden's laptop literally showed him with underage girls. It literally showed him taking drugs, which you can take drugs all you want, dude. Like, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But like all these things that, the right winger, like anti-drug, anti anything that's democratic or whatever. And they're sitting here going, yo, this guy got busted for some gun shit, and they're like cheering it on. They're like, yeah, let's go, let's go. We got to get him. We got to get him. And I even spoke out about it on my X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And then these ass clowns turned around and say, well, we have these laws, so we might as well use it against our enemies. And then I said, my reply to that was, remember this when they come after you. Oh, no, they're never going to come after us because blah, 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 blah. Are you kidding me? Do you think the state is going to stop whether you're a Republican or Democrat or anything of libertarian, Green Party, Tea Party, whatever? Dude, the state will not stop at all. If they don't like what you're doing, they're going to come after you, period. Like, I don't know what to tell folks, but like the fact of the matter is that we have the son of the president of the United States getting charged with felony gun possession when he should be charged with pedophilia. He should be charged with a whole slew of other things. Like, dude, the guy has CCP, Communist China Party, written all over him. He's in court for that too. You know what I'm saying? The guy who has underage girls on his computer, nobody's talking about that. So what
It's kind of interesting because makes you wonder why the parties don't go after each other for stuff like that, like the underage kids and like pedophilia and stuff like that. Because you had like Dennis Hastert was Speaker of the House, right? And no one even Republican, or he was a Republican, but Democrats weren't going after him for all the evil shit he did, because then basically like they probably be outing themselves too. So I wonder how much Republicans are like, well, you can't go after Hunter Biden for X, Y, or Z because, there's plenty of that kind of going on our side too. So we'll be like outing ourselves to a degree, and they can, so it's like certain things they just, I mean, seemingly clear cut, you should be able to charge someone with, but they never did. They don't for some reason. So I don't know. I don't know what they're waiting for. Like, maybe they're just addicted to losing and embarrassing themselves. That could be it. But typical for Republican Party, can't really get anybody on something of substance, which they could. Yeah, just.
Well, here's the catch. So, you got the Hunter Biden shit going on. You have the Trump shit going on. Everybody's in court, right? Everybody's in court except the right guy. Biden should be in court too. Biden should be in court for a plethora of reasons. One being that he is a failure to the American people. Like Biden's, oh my God. I don't know how to explain this without cursing and getting angry, but like the way Biden's campaign has gone and the way that his presidency has gone, it is the total opposite of the American dream, right? Like what he's brought to the table is the exact opposite of, go out and start a business, go out and be yourself, go out and make some money on your own accord, right? Like his whole presidency has been all about bringing the regime in more and not getting rid of the regime, to where like
Seems like that's every president though.
that is every president, but he's the president right now.
Except for Calvin Coolidge.
Yes. Correct. But like we're at a situation in America where like, we have two dystopian megalomaniacs at the forefront of our presidential race, right? And then we have RFK the fraud, who we don't even need to get into that. If you've ever listened to my show before, RFK is a piece of shit and he's a fraud, right? But then also we have the Chase Oliver situation. which is, you know, I've been, and this is a huge, like, I need to apologize to some folks after this. Not after this, but like, I need to apologize to folks in general. We have Chase Oliver, the Libertarian presidential candidate, who is a really good dude. He's actually really nice. I've talked to him. I've met him in person. He's been on my show a couple times, you know, and he's a good guy, man. He really is, you know, he's personable. He knows how to like talk to people. He's the best speaker out of all the presidential candidates we had, which is probably why he won, I would think, anyways. But this show's been brought to you by Anarchy Wear. They are a great organization who sells clothing, banners like what's behind me, hats, all kinds of stuff. And they're absolutely amazing. Not only do they put out awesome content, they also make awesome things like this. And if you're a Spooner fan, you have this. Let me stand up. I didn't sign shit. Lysander Spooner. If you're a Spooner fan, you'll totally understand. If you're not a Spooner fan, get in my DMs and I'll let you know, because he's one of the greatest to ever do it. This flag behind me, enemy of the state. Man, that's Murray Rothbard, the greatest to ever do it. I'm a Rothbardian. He is my favorite economist. He is my favorite anarchist, libertarian, whatever you want to call him. Fantastic material that he's put out. I highly recommend you read his books, but Anarchy Wear has everything from bold to cute and modest. You know what I mean? So like, check them out at AnarchyWear on X, aka Twitter. At anarchywear.ca on anything meta, being Facebook and or Instagram. They're awesome. I love those guys. They're doing great things. And I highly recommend you follow them and get some goods from them, man. I love everything I have from these guys, and they're amazing. And let me throw this in for you. If you use promo code BudsnReality, Buds, letter N, reality. I know you know how to spell. If you're watching this show, you're pretty smart. I know you are. Anyways, get at them, get yourself some gear. And if you use the promo code BudsnReality, you will get yourself 15% off. Who doesn't like a deal? So get at them, check them out. They are great, awesome people. Thank you for the sponsor, and let's get on with the show. There's one thing that Chase Oliver believes in that I can't support or get behind. And this is why I am NODA for a president this year. I'm not voting for a president this year. And the only reason I'm going to go to the polls, period, is because of my local and state stuff. There's local and state stuff that matters on the ballot here. So, you know, the Libertarian Party, which I've been pushing on you guys for the last 2.5 years. I'm like, libertarians, 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 libertarians. We got to vote them in. We got to do this. We got to do that. I apologize for that. I need to take that back, because our presidential candidate under the libertarian name happens to be for allowing underage children to take puberty blockers and such. He says he's against the surgeries and all that, blah, 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 for underage people. But he's okay with giving them medications that will transform them. Now, this is a deal breaker for me. That's one line I can't cross, right? And I'm pretty sure you agree with me on this. And if you don't, just say so. But like, these kids cannot consent for themselves, right? And I understand, like, a lot of the libertarian purists will be like, oh, well, you know, you can't just be telling people how to, raise their kids and do whatever with their kids, which is correct. That is the libertarian standpoint. But there's a huge but in that, huge but. And we're talking about bigger than any donkey butt you ever saw in your life. There's a big but in this. The Libertarian Party is against all forms of abuse, which includes transing your children. right? Because children cannot consent, number one. And number two, Joel, how many times from the time you were, say, 10 years old till now did you change your mind? How many times?
Too many to count.
Like, what did you want to be when you grew up at the age of 10 years old? What did you want to be when you grew up? Do you remember that?
I don't know, probably like an NBA player or something.
Okay. Okay.
I don't remember. It was probably something like stupid like that.
But that's a lot of kids' dreams. Like, I remember when I was super little, the garbage man. I wanted to be the garbage man because that was the coolest job ever. And then I got a little bit older, and it wasn't a basketball player or whatever. It was a baseball player. I want to be a baseball player. And then I got a little bit older and I was like, maybe I just want to work in media per se. I know that's a horrible, concept, working in media or whatever, even though that's what I do now. But like, you change your mind a million times from the time you're a child to the time you're an adult. Think about like from the time you graduated high school when you were 18 to the time you were 25. How many times did your minds change?
Oh, a lot.
So like parental consent on this transing garbage is null and void because it's abuse outside of it. Like here's the thing, dude. So your child says, "Hey, I want to be," your boy child, your male child wants to say, "Yo, I think I'm a girl. I'm 10 years old, right? I'm 10 years old. I think I'm a girl. I want to be a girl." Okay. So parents can conform to their child, which is exactly what it is parents conforming to their child, because I don't think any parent in their right mind
Well,
is
the
going to.
parents pushing it on the kid. It's like the kid, the lady who has a vegan cat. It's like the cat then decide, like you made you're the one that made you're saying your cat's vegan. Your cat isn't vegan. This is made up. Like you're pushing your kid into, like I've seen things where these parents got like, oh, I got 3 or 4 trans kids. I'm like, okay, you literally did that to all your kids.
Yeah.
You pushed them into that. It's a social construct. There's nothing scientific about it. So that, and it definitely is child abuse, at least psychological abuse as well. At the very least.
Well, like here's the catch. So like I have an educator who is very close to me in my life. We're very close. And they happen to work in a high school, and there was this problem child who always got in trouble. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I was a problem child. I always got in trouble. So I understand being the problem child and getting into mischief and stuff like that. That was me. Seriously, you guys. But this person says there was this problem child, couldn't make any friends. They had issues in school, blah, blah, blah. They couldn't pass to whatever. All of a sudden, they turned gay. And all of a sudden, they have all these friends. They have a social gatherings. Everybody loves this person. They're passing in school now, by the way. But it just kind of goes to show like all this stuff is a fad. Now, when I was a kid, we went through fads too, except like it was one of those things where you weren't cool unless you wore the Z Cavarici jeans or the Skids pants or whatever clothing it was, or listen to the right music or whatever. It wasn't, yo, go chop off your dick and you can fit in, right? Or go be gay and you can fit in. There wasn't any of that. Like that wasn't the way it was. And now all of a sudden, we have all these children who are pretty much groomed into saying, hey, I'm gay, I'm trans, I'm this or that, and it's all a fad. So what happens when the fad runs out? Well, I can tell you what happens when the fad runs out, because it's happening now. There are people from, 20 years ago who decided to have these transsexual surgeries, right? And now all of a sudden they regret it. Surprise, surprise. Your mind changed, right? Your mind changed from this age to this age. Now all of a sudden, there's no turning back, though. You can't turn back from the decision you made or the decision your parents helped make for you. There's no turning back from that. You've gone from a boy to a girl or a girl to a boy, and there's no turning back. And there's nothing you can do about it. And you know what happens to over half of those kids who have that epiphany? Guess what happens, Joel?
What?
They hang themselves or they blow their fucking brains out.
Yeah, terrible.
You know what I mean? Like, because they don't know how to process it or deal with it. And this is where we're at right now. You guys think that the suicide rate is bad now, or the drug addiction rate, because that's what happens to the other part of those people too. They just get lost in drugs and they decide that they're just gonna get wasted until they die. Like, this is where we're at right now. And it's vile and it's disgusting. And it is far off what the founding fathers of this country were like. Hey, we just want you to be free and live your lives peacefully, right? Which I'm not saying anything against the trans community or the gay community. Like, if you're an able-bodied adult, a consenting adult who wants to do these things, please go for it. Do it. I'll probably support you, actually, but you can't be making decisions for children. I mean, dude, you're a father and you got another child on the way. Like, what do you like? I hope you homeschool. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but like, what are you going to say to these kids, to your kids, these kids? What are you going to say to your kids when they're being bombarded with this nonsense? Because it's going to be a conversation for you at some point.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Of course, the plan is to homeschool and hopefully, I mean, you want to insulate it them as much as possible from that kind of evil. Of course, it's probably the way it's permeating through the culture and everything. It's almost impossible to avoid. So it's going to be a conversation. No, I just know if, Jericho, my son, he's not talking quite yet, but maybe one day he's whatever, see something on somewhere or hear something like, oh, maybe I'm feeling like well, I'm not, there's going to be no sort of affirming or anything like that. So it'll be nipped in the bud very quickly and early on. And I don't anticipate it being an issue or willing. So yeah, you got to be careful because now it's any kind of children's entertainment. It's getting snuck in there. Even Disney, I don't watch Disney. My son's not going to watch any Disney crap. Even stuff that seems kind of innocuous, like Miss Rachel seems like she's having some. I think she had Dylan Mulvaney on her, on one of her episodes. So I guess now I gotta like stuff that seems kind of innocent is now like getting infiltrated. So I just just gotta be as vigilant as possible and making sure we're being careful, like what's being consumed, watched, all that kind of stuff. So but yeah, it'll definitely be a conversation, I'm sure, at some point. In some capacity, you know what I mean? I don't think it's gonna be like, he's gonna feel like he's a girl, even if he, does for 3 seconds. We'll nip it in the bud real fast.
That's right. And that's like, this is what parents should be doing. Like, we're in an era where like most parents want to be.
If anything, it's going to be like, yeah, that person, that's a really a man. They have psychological issues, and they think they're a woman, but they're not. There's only 2 genders. There aren't 16 genders, and it'll be very, he's going to learn. Abraham Lincoln was a tyrant. The Constitution was a coup. There's only 2 genders. so on and so on. Taxation is theft, all the hits. We're gonna hit them, don't worry.
I love that, man. I love that. Now, moving on from that to this, I've been gone for a couple weeks, so I haven't been able to talk about this. You actually went to the first day of the Libertarian National Convention.
Well, I went on Friday. I'm not sure what the official first day was, if that was Thursday or Friday. I don't know.
I mean, technically, I think it was Friday.
Okay, I don't know. I was there for part of Friday. So I got up at 2 a.m. and I drove 8 hours to Washington, D.C. Got there around 10:30, maybe 11, and I was there till like 5:36, and I drove home. So it was enough time to kind of meet some people, shake some hands, and get a good idea of the nonsense and the shit show, if you will, that goes on at those conventions, and just in the Libertarian Party in general. So quite interesting.
As far as conventions go, I think, hypothetically, say you invite a friend into the Libertarian Party, right? I think that a convention is the absolute worst place to bring them for the first time. I do, like any convention, whether it's state or national, you should not bring your friends to a libertarian convention ever, unless they have been a libertarian for a while and understand it, and they join the party and kind of know it's a bunch of yah and rah. You know what I mean? Like, we had somebody at our state convention in March, right? And it was his first time he ever came to anything libertarian. He hasn't been back since. We haven't seen this person.
No, and I don't blame him. I would definitely go. I will definitely go to another convention. Like I would like to go to the next convention, just to again meet the people. Like didn't go. I don't want. I'm never gonna go to participate. Because there's a lot of people that just seems to me, and maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Very well, maybe the case. There's a lot of things I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm saying, but it just seemed to me this isn't everybody, and we all know who these kind of people are. Like they get off from like showing up at these conventions, kind of obstructing the process, all these like motions and bylaws and filing lawsuits, and feeling like they're like moving the levers of power around, and that's all they do. You know what I mean? Like that's what they live for. That's why they show up at the convention. That's why they're libertarians. That's what they spend all their time doing. That's what they spend their resources doing, is suing and fighting, and obstructing other libertarians and making backhanded, underhanded deals and doing this. So it's like, okay, you hear all these like cute little slogans like our enemy is the state and blah 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 blah, be ungovernable. But if you spend all your time and energy and resources fighting and suing and battling other people who you're supposed to be in the same party as, well, to me that's very clear who you actually think your real enemy is, because that's who you're fighting. So it's like, well, I don't understand like what I mean. And again, like these are the kind of people, they don't bring anything to the table. Like they're not active in their communities. They're not really creative. They don't bring, anything. Like they're not really making podcasts or just, writing books or it doesn't matter, just doing anything productive in the name of advancing liberty. It's how can I get in this position of power in the party? How can I obtain this seat? How can I get rid of that person? How can I hold up the whole thing? And just it's a complete. It's like I said. We all know it's a shit show. So that's why, like, that's what turned me off. And I even felt that way before I went just to the convention, just being able to see it firsthand. That's why I'm like, I want no part in playing. But like, the people like just love playing politics, right? And so that's not that to me. Like, you can't really believe in liberty and advancing liberty and spend all your time and energy fighting the libertarians. So that's why I want no part in participating in the Libertarian Party, being a delegate, doing any of this stuff. That does not mean there are not great libertarians to support. There are plenty of them. So that means guys like Michael White, I want to support him. I donated to him. I'm going to donate as much as possible to Michael White. Throughout the coming months. Joshua Smith running in Iowa. So that's another guy I want to support. Of course, I sponsor your podcast. I sponsor another podcast. I try to buy people's books who I'm friends with on Twitter and stuff. So it's like I want to. Those are the people I'm gonna support. There's great people, individuals doing great work, writing, podcasts, music, comedy, running local office, activism, bringing certain issues to light. So those are the people that need to be supported and encouraged. And so I would say, let's spend more time doing that and less time. Let those retards have their Libertarian Party. Okay. It's freaking, let them have it. Secession is the most libertarian thing you can do. Freedom of association. The libertarian brand is just kind of silly right now. I don't know, the Mises people and anybody else, they should probably just break away, form their own thing, and let the DC gay retarded libertarians kind of just.
I love it.
Let them self-destruct. Stop trying to waste. Stop wasting resources and energy trying to just get out. Start your own thing. So, but hey, whatever they want to do, spend their time. That's on them. But at least for me, and especially a certain delegation from a certain state.
Wait, what certain state are you talking about?
I'm not going to say the state.
Please say what state we're talking about.
It kind of looks like a mitten. And it's and then there's another part of the state that's not attached to the mitten. It's there's lots of bodies of water around it. It's very close to the fallen state of Canada up north. But I'm not going to say the name.
I don't think you need to. I think it's a good idea.
Anyway. But I don't know, that's just how I see it. So I want to keep supporting the people doing good work every day, not the people who just want to play. It's like political Comic-Con for some people, right? They get to go and they play dress up, and look at me, I'm making all this, I'm cutting deals, and I'm doing this and doing that. And it's you get a life, man. Do something productive or I don't know. I just got no time for that kind of stuff. I'm sitting in the back of the conference hall watching all this stuff go. I'm like, dude, what a terrible way to spend a whole day. You might as well just go bash your head outside on the concrete over and over again. That would probably be less painful. So, yeah, I don't know, no part in the party politics. What a waste of freaking energy. So, but I met a lot of great people, Patrick Kirby and Adam Troy, and I met Spike Cohen. And
did you get to talk to Spike?
I didn't get to talk to him. I just shook his hand. He said I was wearing my Lindsey Graham War Pig shirt, and he's like, "Hey man, that's a nice shirt." And I'm like, "Hey, Spike Cohen, nice to meet you." And I shook his hand. It was in passing. I didn't spend any time really talking to him. But it was just cool to see him and shake his hand. And so, but I had a good time. I'd do it again. I'd make that drive again. No regrets. It just kind of confirmed in my mind how I see the Libertarian Party kind of all the nonsense going on X and online and stuff, and then seeing it in person was well, okay, yeah, this is it just reconfirmed what I already thought. But it made me even more. It made me to want to even double down on helping, supporting the people who are actually doing good work and should be supported as much as possible. So it was a good time overall. I missed your speech, but oh well.
I'm glad you brought up that one place who's shaped like the mint, and I'm glad you brought that up. Um, because a lot of people brought that up. So like, a few months back we had our state convention. I was pretty pissed off after that. And I came out vocally about that on social media. And then I got a bunch of backlash from it who's said, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to get into all that, but I caught some smoke for it. And then all of a sudden, some people went to convention and they saw it, and they saw it for what it was. And the same people that text me, blah, 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 text me saying, hey, whoa, we didn't realize. I'm like, I tried to tell you guys. Like, I tried. And don't
Sometimes
get
you
me
gotta
wrong,
get to
like,
believe it. I mean, I don't know.
I love my people here in Michigan. Like, I love the people that invited me to things. So like, here's the catch. And I know I have some people outside of the Mises Caucus who listen to this show, especially in Michigan. Mises Caucus Michigan people were the ones who invited me to my first affiliate meeting. Mises Caucus Michigan people were the ones who invited me to work tents. Mises Caucus Michigan people were the ones who invited me to be on a panel at their state convention. Mises Caucus people were the ones who invited me to not only tents, but like other gatherings. Like, I never once ever got an invite from anyone from the other quote unquote faction. They never even tried to interact with me unless they tried to sling shit. Honestly. Minus a couple people. There's a couple people that, from over there who have been great. And you know who you are. I don't want to put your names on blast just to keep you safe because of what's happening here. Not safe and like hurt somebody wise, but like, I'm tired of seeing the slinging of the shit, because that's all that happens here in Michigan. But like, honestly, the Mises Caucus in Michigan has been very, very much a part of BudsnReality, because they're the ones who invited me to things. The other people, they never even showed up to stuff I was at. I've been to all kinds of tents. I've been to all kinds of conventions. I've been to all kinds of, whatever it may be, like gatherings where it came to like libertarian stuff in Michigan. I never once saw those people outside of this award ceremony that I went to, you know. So like, am I partial to the Mises Caucus? Yeah, I am. Because they're the ones who invited me to shit. They're the ones who brought me in. They're like, hey, let's do this type thing. And we're going to work on shit locally. They're the only ones who did that. Period. Not a single one of the ones from the other side did that. So I will continue to work with the Mises Caucus people here in Michigan, and I will not work with people from the other faction at all. Period. I'm not doing it. And I have a plethora of reasons for that outside of what I just talked about, but we don't have enough time to get into all that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? But like, my take on the Libertarian Party as a whole, it's not in a good place. It's actually kind of a joke. My take on liberty in general, yes, absolutely. We need to move it forward. I have already started working on something else with another group of people outside of the Libertarian Party, which I can't get into too much, but Mike Decentralized, I know you're listening. It has something to do with him. That was the last show I did actually before this one. And, we're just going to work on a local movement now. It has nothing to do with party politics anymore. We're going to work with GOP members. We're even going to work with Blue Dog Democrats, dude. If you're a DNC person who is of the old guard of the Democratic Party, I want to work with you. And we're going to do this, and we're going to build local coalitions, and we're going to start nullifying. That's what we're going to do. And it's not going to have anything to do with a political party. Nothing, because
I am no longer a member of the Libertarian Party. I'm not doing it. I'm not re-signing back up. I love the people that I love, and I'm not going to work with the people that I don't love, period. But like, this is where it matters, is building the local coalitions. We gotta get the right people in our local chairs to nullify the bullshit that the federal government is doing right now.
And even state government too.
State government.
So
Shit. Oh shit. I gotta bring this up. Speaking of state governments, dude, I'm here in Michigan, right? And I happen to live in an area. I'm just outside Detroit. I'm not technically in Detroit. I'm just outside of Detroit, and I live in an area where it's working class people and people on fixed incomes, because a lot of people around here are like, my house was built in 1951. A lot of my neighbors are probably that old, you know what I'm saying, who are on fixed incomes and such. But now, and I'm not too sure if it's through the state or the actual city. I would imagine it's through the state, just because there's more money involved. But in real life, and in my everyday life, I paint houses for a living. I have a small business. I paint houses. You know that. I went and looked at a job, probably about a month ago in my town, in my city. And this woman who I was looking at the job for proceeded to tell me that she was going to get an $18,000 loan to get new siding and a roof. Now, I just had siding and gutters done on my house, okay? I live in an 1,100 square foot ranch. It's a shack. There's nothing special about my house, okay? And 75% of my house is brick. And I just got new siding and gutters done a couple years ago, probably in 21. I want to say maybe it was 22. I think it was 21 though. It cost me 10 grand, right? So when this person said they're going to have their siding and their roof done for $18,000 a couple years later with all the inflation, right? Mind you, their whole house is siding. It's a bungalow. It's probably roughly 1,000 square foot bungalow, right? And it's all siding. There's no brick on it left, right? So you're trying to tell the guy who just spent 10 grand on siding and gutters that is, most of my house is, brick, and you're telling me it's gonna be 18 grand to have the roughly the same size house, except higher, because the taller you go, the more shit gets expensive. It's part of the deal. I was kind of like, how does that work? I asked straight up. And she looked right at me and said, well, you can get a grant or a loan through the state. Well, I guess she did say the state. So it was through the state. You can get a loan through the state to have these repairs done or work done on your house, right? For $18,000 with no interest. I said, okay, I need to know how this works, because nobody's just giving out money for free. That's not how this works at all. And she goes, no, they just put a lien on your house. What?
The state of Michigan puts a lien on your house so you can get siding.
Yes. So check this out, dude. So like, this is what they're doing in Michigan, and I guarantee it, they're probably doing it in a lot of other states. I can guarantee it. So they're working on the working class and the poor here, right? Like the people who are older here, they're on fixed incomes. They don't have a lot of money. They're not working. They get their Social Security and God knows what else. I don't know. I don't care. It's none of my business. What is my business is the state is loaning money to these people in exchange of putting a lien on their house. And they know full well that a lot of these people are going to go bogue on their loans. So what a lien means, if you don't know what that means, is these people can't sell their house. And after a certain point, if you don't pay that loan, they can come take it. So what they're doing is they're scooping up these houses for $18,000. Mind you, that's the other thing I asked is, how are they even paying these contractors to do this type of work for $18,000, knowing that it cost me 10 grand to just do siding and gutters on my house? And she said, the city employees work on it. They do it. So now they're having people who are not only not licensed, but not insured doing the work on these houses, right? What could possibly go wrong, Joel?
Well,
What
I
could
think Big Gretch, I think Big Gretch has it all figured out. And maybe you should trust the process.
I see this as the state is about to scoop up a bunch of homes in a desirable area, because where I am is desirable. Like, I'm just outside Detroit, don't get me wrong, but like the surrounding towns in the area, there's a lot of good restaurants, a lot of good bars, a lot of good shops, stuff like that. Bookstores, you name it, we have it around here. I just happen to be in the area where, we have all these amenities minus the taxes. I don't live in the high tax district of this area, right? But they're taking advantage of people. They know that these people are going to go bogue on their loans. And then what happens? They can't sell their house. They'll go belly up. They'll leave it. If they can't afford their place anymore, they'll just leave it. So then the state just scooped up this house in a desirable area for $18,000. This is what they're doing here in America, ladies and gentlemen. I understand on paper it looks really good. Hey, they're giving these interest-free loans out for 18 grand and you can get all this work done on your house. They fail to mention that they're going to put a lien on your house and take it if you go bogue on it. What the fuck, dude? Like, wow.
It's pretty wild. Yeah, Michigan's yeah, there's something up there.
We're definitely something up here, but like, I want to say like this isn't just happening here in Michigan though. I think it's happening in every blue state that is.
Well, they're helping. That's the thing. It's like, oh, we got to help the middle, the working class, So
Well,
it's never, oh, let's help the working class. Let's have them keep more of their own money. You know what I mean? That's never a solution. It's like, oh, we'll come up with some program and we'll give you some money or loan you money or do something. It's kind of funny. It's like Bernie Sanders, and even Reagan back in the said something similar. It's like bus drivers pay a higher tax rate than most of like your millionaires and billionaires, and we need to change that, right? But the solution is never, yeah, let's reduce the tax rate for the working person or the bus driver. No, it's let's jack up the tax rate for the rich person. So I don't know, maybe if they would, a good way to help is letting people keep their own money, but then that's means you're not dependent on the state of Michigan, right? So if you take some handout or some whatever loan, then there's you basically own them. So yeah, just more different kinds of welfare, I guess.
Which is what we need to get away from. Like, holy shit, dude, like how much welfare can you put out? Like, I understand there's people that need help. I actually have people in my family who, live off the system. And I don't mean that in a bad way. They're disabled and they can't do the thing anymore. And that's unfortunate and that sucks. But like, there needs to be a better way to pay for these things outside of people who already can't even afford to pay for themselves. Like the funny thing is about taxes is that the majority believes that they take the taxes from the rich to pay, help the poor folks out, which is not the case at all. It's not even close. If that were the case, they wouldn't be closing schools left and right in Detroit. I mean, stuff like that, like they're literally taxing the poor to help the people who are not poor. Why do, it's not even about property taxes. Like property taxes are a joke. Like, if you ever looked at your property taxes in your entire life and they broke it down to where your money went, and most people were like, well, my property taxes go to police and fire. Only a small fraction of your property taxes go to police and fire. Straight up, small, like under 20%. The rest of it goes to things that are already paid for by your state taxes, right? Or the federal money that comes into your state. And then they double dip from your property tax. Like, there should be no property taxes in any state. There's enough state tax and federal tax that comes into your state to get rid of all property tax whatsoever. But it's a way for them to double dip. And I understand that, you know, some property taxes are more than others depending on your area. But like, your property taxes in general don't cover what you think it covers. You think it's going for your roads and your, you know, your police and fire and stuff like that. But really, in theory, it's going to playground equipment that has been paid for like 3 times, right? No, it is though. Like, there's this I don't organization, I should call them, called Axe My Tax Michigan, except with the it's MI, like the abbreviation for Michigan. They came into some of our affiliate meetings and broke it down for us and was like, okay, you know, hypothetically, you're paying $5,000 for property taxes, but only $850 of that 5,000 goes to your police and fire, and the rest of it is going to, you know, nonsense state parks, playground equipment, and schools that are already being paid for from the other taxes that come into your state. And so where do you think that money is going? It's going into the bureaucrats' pockets, the government's pockets. It's happening in your state. It's happening everywhere. It's not just a Michigan thing. Like when you get off here, when you have some time, go look at the breakdown of where your property tax money goes, and you're going to be extremely angry. Because it's going to things that are quote unquote already paid for.
Yeah.
It's every
A
state,
big racket.
you know.
Well, it's amazing. Yeah, even in every red state in America, as far as I know, has property tax. So it's like really like, and it doesn't matter what government you live under, what state, like they don't believe in private property, because if I live in South Carolina, if they believed in private property, there would be no property tax. I have to pay. I don't pay. If you think you own your property, don't pay your property tax, and we'll see who really owns it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, another big, another racket as usual. Not surprising. Now, of course, well, the things it just what's going to differ is like what's they spend it on. So maybe in your state they spend it on, I don't know, trans doctors and abortion clinics. I don't know.
That's exactly what they're spending it on.
Here they spend it on, who knows, the highway and giving themselves pay raises, something. But you know, at least they're not, as far as I know, in this state. I think they banned transgender surgery here, if I'm not mistaken, or they're going to. Anyway, like, yeah, just the only thing is different is what they spend it on and the amounts they take. You know what I mean? So either way, they're stealing, just at a more or less rate.
That's right. That's right. But Joel, I know you got to go, dude. You got stuff to do. You got family affairs to go. So let's wrap this up, my friend. My dude, how can we find you? Even though we say it on every show, how can we find you?
_ Infinite Zeal. That's where you'll find me. And we're memeing, and we are supporting, of course, your show, other shows, people running for local office, people doing great stuff. And I would encourage everybody to do the same thing. Like, so if the Libertarian Party's kind of turned you off to participating or getting involved formally within the party, don't be discouraged. There's still a lot you can do. You don't need a party apparatus to do anything. You can go out on your own and make common cause with people who you share values with. So let's keep doing that. Parallel economy. There's a lot of people selling stuff that who deserve our business more than going to Target, going to Starbucks, going to any of these other big corporations who they don't need our money, and they really a lot of them I share no values with them. So parallel economy, support people doing great work, even if they aren't necessarily libertarian or in the libertarian party. There's a lot of people we can get behind, and liberty will prevail, even if the libertarian party seems hell-bent on preventing that from happening. We're just going to keep blazing forward.
I love it, man. I love it. And I love you, man. Like, you know what? I need to say thank you, not only just for supporting the show, that's obvious, but like, dude, there was only like a couple people who really like asked questions and made sure I was all right when I was really sick last year. And one of them was you. And I love you forever for that.
You're my
Thank you
boy.
so much. Like, you're my boy, Blue. Like, no, for real. Like, you know, it's one of those things where like, you know, I felt community at that point. Like I felt like, you know, there's people like you, Cassier and Moore. God, I love Cassier and Moore forever too. You know, Subscript Pirate as he goes, you know, on X or whatever. But like, you know, I love you guys forever for always just making sure things were cool, you know, around these parts when I was at my worst, man. Like that's huge, man. And that's what you'll find in the Liberty community is people who actually care. Like we don't do this stuff just to hear stuff ourselves talk. We don't just do this stuff to be cool. To be quite honest with you, this is the most uncool thing you could ever do. A majority of the people hate you or me or whatever it may be. Like if you're speaking liberty, like you're gonna have haters, you're gonna have enemies and stuff like that. So like when you find people in the liberty community who are for real about it, not just some grifting ass motherfuckers, dude, like you're going to find some of the best people in the entire world. And I don't want to turn people off from liberty. And I don't necessarily want to turn people off from the Libertarian Party. I'm just turned off by it right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure there's better days to come and maybe they'll figure it out. I needed to take a step back and I'm working on some other things that are much more, I don't want to say important, but like much more like grassroots and stuff. Like I don't care about the federal government anymore. I don't care about federal elections anymore. We're not going to fix that. But what we can do is build from the ground up and work our way there. Like we can't give up. There's no giving up. There's, as you would say, all gas, no brakes, man.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go. But until next time, y'all, peace, love, and liberty. Be good. If you love me long time, help to keep the show going. BudsnReality on Cash App. BudsnReality on everything. Please like, share, subscribe, all the good things. Till next time, peace, love, and liberty. Be good.